Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from the News Hub here at Adisawe, Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Ghana 60 years on, committee yet to construct a single e-library out of the 60 promised in deprived communities across the country.
Also, Managing Director of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, Samson Jamra, says the Ayalolo bus system is not making profit despite increased patronage.
And Ghana successfully launches first space satellite into orbit to provide data on happenings on the country's coastal areas and the environment.
And in business evening, Ghana Stock Exchange records 16.31% year-to-date profit at the end of the second quarter.
And on the international front, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin hold first face-to-face talks on the sidelines of the G20 summit in the German city of Hamburg. We've got all these stories for you, as well as the very latest from the world of sports and entertainment here on News 360. We're also streaming live on 3news.com, as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook, so you can watch us on those platforms. And our first story this evening, the Ghana 60 Years On Committee is yet to construct one out of the 60 libraries it promised 7 months after celebrations commenced. Nevertheless, chairman of the committee, Ken Amankwa, is optimistic the various projects outlined will be achieved. He spoke with our reporter, Jonathan Adams.
E-library project was launched as part of the year-long Ghana 60 Years On celebrations. The committee planned to build 60 libraries in 60 deprived communities across the country. But 7 months on, committee chairman Ken Amankwa says the committee is yet to cut salt for the first library project.
It is not Usain Bolt really which will finish within a certain time limit. We are concerned that we should cut the salt. Once West Blue has taken it up, we know that they have a time limit, and then they'll finish, they'll complete it. Not necessarily within the stipulated period.
He contended the committee is about to complete the Heads of State Museum, as was promised from the start of the celebrations.
If you visit the castle, we've done a lot of work on it. We launched it. The president opened it. The exhibition and all that is there. It's there for everybody to see. So that one is something which is off-going, it's running now.
The budget of the year-long celebration was pegged at 20 million cedis. Ken Amankwa described it as premature to account for monies realized so far from donors.
We haven't finished the race, and if I give you an exact figure and something happens, everybody will hold it into account. So let's finish, and then we'll give appropriate accounting later on in the year.
Food for Fun project, according to the committee chairman, is the biggest activity the committee has embarked on so far.
We came out with a proposition about creating school farms within all SHS schools. Within 6 weeks, we had organized ourselves and then went to Kwapima to go and launch the Food Farms for Schools project. Initially, we were doing as a pilot study for 10 schools in each region, but the takeoff point was so high. Now we have 50 schools in every region who've taken up the Food Farms for Schools project, and they are doing very well.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Union of Traders Association of Ghana has donated 40,000 cedis to support the Ghana 60 Years On activities.
All right, so let's just say with the chairman of the Ghana 60 Years On Committee, Ken Amankwa, he's saying that the committee does not owe playwright and poet Chief Mumin any money. He insists the committee is ready to face Chief Mumin in court to iron out the difference.
Chief Momen has said he had a verbal agreement with the Ghana 60 Years On Committee for the production of his Wogbejeke play for Ghana's 60th celebration. He disclosed he has only been paid 100,000 cedis out of the 200,000 cedis he charged the committee. But the committee chairman Ken Amankwa says he had no formal agreement with the playwright.
Then he comes down and said that, look, well, he's done the musical. Our colleague, the chairman of the events committee, paid him $100,000 as an upfront mobilization fee. And he agreed with him that the whole thing would be 200,000. So he needed 100,000. I said, well, I have not been told that you will pay this money. If you have, then good luck, because left to me alone, you didn't come here for us to sign the budget, for us to go through and then have, that's a procedure. So I wouldn't have even given you a dime. We don't owe him anything. The courts haven't ceased working. So if he thinks that he has anything, that legally, he has legal legs to stand on, let him go to the court. Then we'll meet him there.
Well, let's turn attention to other stories this evening as a downpour in Samraboy in the Wassa Amemfi West District of the Western region has rendered several people homeless. The rainfall that lasted over 5 hours swept through homes, making them inaccessible to owners.
Most homes in Samraboy were not accessible following the downpour. Access routes to homes were washed away, trapping several people inside their houses. Roads were also covered by the floods, making them unmotorable. Workers and school children have been indoors the whole day awaiting relief and support from government. There has been heavy rains in the western region in the past week, and residents fear this may result in a disaster. In a related development, residents of Asim Praso and Adansi Praso have been evacuated from their homes by the Pra River as the river overflowed its banks. Floodwaters have submerged several buildings and other property in both towns, making life uncomfortable.
Well, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has launched an appeal for water receptacles to help provide potable water to residents of Anglop Beach who were hit by the floods from River Pra. As you see on your screens, about 80% of the Anglop Beach town is currently covered in water, and NADMO fears the unsanitary conditions in the area could cause a cholera outbreak in the midst of the floods. In a press release, NADMO said flood water had mixed with human excreta and flowing through people's homes. Tidal waves swept away several houses at Anglop Beach, a coastal community in the Shama district of the Western region, on June 11, 2017, when the Pra River overflowed its banks. Asim Praso, Adansi Praso, and other communities along the river were also affected by the floods. About 198 houses along the shores of Anglop Beach were washed away, leaving 838 residents displaced. NADMO says, though the Ghana National Fire Service has expressed its readiness to provide potable water for the people, it is unable to do due to lack of water storage containers.
Bring him on that subsequently. But away from that, a child rights activist, Bright Appiah, says he will not back down on his fights to seek juvenile trial for the 17-year-old boy at the juvenile court. He argues that his comments were based on police findings. Meanwhile, the prosecutor of the case has revealed the boy is 22 years old and must face regular trial.
The executive director of Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, said his earlier comments were based on police findings.
Well, we haven't changed our stand on it. When the police came out and said that the boy was 12 years, on the basis of that, it triggered our investigation to find out whether we can locate the child within the juvenile justice system, which of course we did, but we couldn't locate him. We went to the community, we could not find him. That is what made us to make it public that no, we would want to see the child within the juvenile justice system. So later, when the case went to court, it took the judge to rule that if the boy says he's 17 years, then we have to try the child within the juvenile justice system.
The child rights activist said further investigations have been done to seek justice.
if the system prescribed that a person should be tried in a certain way, we'd have to conform to it and then let the rules work. That's all that we are interested in. So if they have a new date, which of course is something that we can also investigate further to establish whether indeed it is true, then we'll go further, because we've had cases where ages of children have been increased for trial.
Bright Appiah's comment comes in the wake of the said minor who was among the suspects in the Major Mahama case. The police prosecutor told the court a month ago that the young man was 17 years. But on Thursday, July 5, the boy's age was changed to 22. This has generated some uproar, with a section of the public accusing Bright Appiah of not doing due diligence before coming out to comment.
Yeah. Well, so that's the gentleman with the circle around his head is the man in question, but it's still continuing on this particular one. The managing director of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTI, Samson Jamra, says his outfit is yet to break even, although the patronage of Ayalolo buses has increased. He contended instead of the expected 12,000 passengers boarding the bus daily, to make it more profitable, only 9,000 currently patronize the 48 buses daily.
The bus rapid transit service was launched last year and currently has 8 buses plying the Amasamano-Fanko-Achimota Accra corridor. Although the service has not experienced any major challenge, it is yet to attract optimum interest among commuters, as most still prefer to board other commercial vehicles. Managing Director of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTI, Samson Jamra, lamented instead of the expected 12,000 passengers boarding the buses daily, only 9,000 currently patronize the 48 buses.
We are not breaking even with the current patronage that we have. We need to double the patronage to be able to break even. There's been a lot of education that has gone into sensitizing the commuting public on how to utilize the system and the advantages of the system. But I would not say that we've done enough. There's still a lot to be done.
Samson Jamra refuted media reports that 197 out of the 245 buses are lying idle, claiming that his outfit has received some 1.7 million cedis from the local government's ministry to roll out another 85 buses on the Adenta-Accra corridor.
Currently, the infrastructure on the Adenta corridor is being developed. So hopefully, Adenta has also been programmed to utilize 85 buses during maximum capacity. And once the corridor infrastructure is completed, the buses will be deployed. We expect this to happen towards the last quarter of this year.
Some passengers, however, complain about the delay of the arrival of the buses, citing the unavailability of dedicated lanes as the major factor.
The lanes are not too much for the bus. I like the service, but the only problem is that sometimes if you join a bus, it delays a lot on the way. So when I'm in a hurry and I'm going to a place, I prefer to join the normal trotro rather than the bus.
All right, so a downpour in Sumner Boy, as we stated earlier on, in the Wassa-Menfi West District of the Western Region, has rendered several people homeless. And the rainfall that lasted over 5 hours swept through homes, making them inaccessible to owners. And this has prompted a lot of concern. As you see on your screens right now, that is how the situation looks like, with lots of these residents in these homes displaced in some parts of the Western region, coastal areas in the Western region, as a result of 5 hours continuous rain. I've been joined on the telephone by Charles York. He's the Director of Research and Applied Meteorology at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Mr. York, I thank you. Good evening to you. Now, with what we're seeing on our screens right now, and the continuous rain that has displaced a lot of people, how is the forecast looking like from your outfit?
And good evening. I think around March, at the beginning of the rainy season, the Ghana Meteorological Agency came out to actually say that we're going to have above normal rains, especially over the western part of the country. That's the West Coast, including Summer Boy. And so this came as a result of the fact that the Gulf of Guinea coast actually warmed so much, and that actually attributes to some of these extreme rainfall conditions. But going forward, we haven't virtually the rainy season going over now. We are at the tail end of the major rainy season. So we expect that the rains will tailor down. We are not going to go through such drought conditions.
But at least with what we observed in that part of the western region that has led to this flooding excessively, there's been continuous rains for the past 3 days. Now, from the forecast you have, are we still going to have a lot more rain towards the end of the rainy season at the same rate as we're experiencing?
Not exactly. The rains are actually tailing down. Going to have intermittent rainfall. That actually counts for maybe the monsoon. But the convective activity, that brings about heavy rainfall or railing out of the western side. And so we expect the rains to go down considerably. And by May, the third week of July, it will be off completely, waiting for the minor rainy season.
Now, I asked this question because I recall in March earlier this year when you released a statement cautioning the Ghanaian public about the impending rainy season, which we are in now. You indicated that the rains were going to increase in terms of its rate from 390 millimeters to about 450 millimeters. And so if what we're experiencing with people having their homes flooded or taken over by rains is anything to go by, then there should be cause for worry, isn't it, Mr. York?
Yes, cause for worry, because when you came out with the forecast, you indicated that western region especially will have extremely high amount of rainfall. There's no wonder we also had even the city of Sekendi, Takoradi also got flooded. I remember the market sector around Takoradi also got flooded completely. And so those especially living in the low-lying areas in western region, they had to go through this unfortunate situation. But we believe that as per the forecast, this situation is going to go down even as we go through the mid to the third week in July.
But in these critical moments, what would the advice be to persons who live in these low-lying areas and also these coastal areas, especially in the western region, the Volta region, and some parts of the central region as well? Should they leave the place within this period and never come back, or what exactly?
That's a question to ask. You know, the issue is that these extreme weather conditions come once in a year. It's not annual affair. And so to ask them to vacate the place, I think to be out of place.
No, I'm asking this because if they don't leave the place, you say that yes, rainy season comes once in a year, but when it comes, it displaces them. With what we are seeing on your screens right now, rains have taken over homes, destroyed property, displaced human beings. So should they take the risk of saying, oh, it's just once in a year, so let's just stay till that particular part of the year or the time of the year comes, or we should just evacuate them, leave the place for safety? I mean, that's...
Yeah, I think the best option is to evacuate them to another place where you wouldn't have that situation. The human beings as we are always, but moving human beings is always difficult to do so. They will tell you that's where their grandfather, their grand-grandfather died and was buried, and so they also want to die there. So it is always a dicey. If you cast your mind back to the situations in the Volta region, you know how tough it comes when you ask them to leave the place to another place. That is the best option. It's really going to be difficult for people to leave their property and go to another place.
So, thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening. Charles York is the Director of Research and Applied Meteorology at the Ghana Meteorological Agency on this.
But in other news this evening, the 12 labour unions are to petition the Speaker and leadership of Parliament next week to explain why they have allowed the Finance Minister to use the 2017 budget to amend Act 766 of the Pensions Act. In the budget, the Finance Minister insisted on supervising pension contributions, but the Pensions Act 766 gives the sole mandates to the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations.
On Tuesday, July 4, the 12 labor unions at their news conference called on the Minister of Finance to back down on his decision to supervise pension contributions. The unions cited Section 13 of the Pensions Act 766, which solely mandates the Employment and Labour Relations Minister to do so. However, in the 2017 budget statement, the Minister of Finance indicated plans to control and supervise the contributions. 3 days after the news conference, the 12 labor unions have threatened to petition the Speaker and leadership of Parliament on the matter.
We are going to write to the Speaker of Parliament. We're also going to write to the minority and majority leader, because this budget statement was presented to Parliament and we didn't hear anybody question how come you are amending an act with a budget statement. There are a lot of answers that has to be answered. And so that's the first step we're going to take. Based on responses that we'll get from Parliament, they will know the next action to take.
The chairman of the unions, Isaac Bampuado, again insisted that they will proceed to the Supreme Court if Parliament fails to act.
If we are not satisfied, then obviously we'll talk to our lawyers and they will then take the legal step. Because already we are aware the SNID board has been sworn in. And it was sworn in by the Minister of Finance. The previous board was sworn in by the then Minister for Employment, Haruna Idrisu.
Meanwhile, the unions have requested government to initiate the process of paying their 18 months arrears on the second-tier pension scheme.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, is saying that it is disappointed government ignored their concerns and appointed Ofosu Samoa as the Executive Secretary of the Labour Commission. The union is disturbed such removals could politicize the Executive Secretary's position of the Commission and also undermine smooth negotiations between government and Labour.
Currently, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Charles Bawadia, has been removed from his position. Ofosu Samoa has been appointed from the presidency as the new Executive Secretary of the Commission. Initially, the ICU raised concerns and pleaded with the presidency to rescind its decision on the matter. However, 3 weeks after its plea, Ofosu Samoa has been confirmed. This the ICU describes as unfair. The General Secretary, Solomon Kotai, says such removals could politicize the Executive Secretary's position.
He was not politically appointed. If he were to be politically appointed, like chief executives are politically appointed, they know themselves that if my party is not sustained in power, my likelihood that I will leave. But not when an august body like Public Service Commission, okay, not that they even handpick and did this whole sourcing. The guy went through an advert that was placed, he went through interview, a panel sat on it, and then he was appointed.
In another development, the ICU has lauded government for reactivating the task force to check cheap imports of textiles into the market. The union asked government to be prompt in reducing costs of tariffs to boost business confidence.
Utility items affect industry so badly. As it stands now, employers are still bleeding and they are still talking about it. We are hoping that as the Power Ministry and the Petroleum Ministry settles down, and finally with the new Kufuor oil fund now, pouring out, we are looking forward that maybe by the close of their first year, all Ghanaians will have a relief of these utility things.
On the 3% VAT flat rate, the ICU asked the Finance Ministry to conduct broader consultations before implementation.
2,160 national service personnel have been deployed to the various regions to assist in the Planting for Food and Jobs program. In total, the Secretariat has deployed 91,871 service personnel for the 2017-2018 postings.
91,871 service personnel have been deployed to areas of agriculture and agribusiness, education support, NSS support, business services, community health, rural development, administrative support, urban traffic and urban sanitation. 76,980 have been posted to the public sector, representing 84%. The private sector received 14,963 service personnel, representing 16.3%. Authorities indicate the trend in the regional distribution has not seen much change. The Greater Accra and the Ashanti regions continue to receive high posting requests, whilst the Upper East and West regions continue to record low requests. Greater Accra received 29,647 personnel, with the Upper West receiving 1,657 personnel.
Each district is getting 10 service personnel to support this Planting for Food and Job initiative. But we have various sectors, and you know that National Service itself, we have farms, and we are going to send service personnel there. They are not included in this list. And we have also sent service personnel to other private farms as well.
Registration will commence at all regional centers across the country from Monday, July 17 and end on Thursday, August 17. However, service personnel cannot print out the appointment letters until Wednesday, July 12.
We should advise all prospective service personnel to be wary of people who approach them to offer them assistance to change their postings. Management will not, and management does not encourage any change of posting.
From Friday, July 7, personnel could access their places of postings through SMS short code system by texting *714*77# on MTN, Airtel, Tigo and Vodafone.
There's something to be happy about in Ghana in midst of all this. Ghana has successfully launched a space satellite into orbit. Yeah. So the release was to verify the functionality of the satellite launched into space some months ago. Signal of the event was beamed live at the All Nations University campus in Koforidua, the university that built the satellite.
GhanaSat-1 was released and deployed into orbit at an altitude of 420 kilometers on July 7, 2017 at 12:16 p.m. The event was watched live at JAXA Tsukuba Space Center in Japan and at the All Nation University campus in Koforidua. It lasted 7 minutes. The weak signal was recorded. Dr. Richard Damwa, in charge of Space System Technology Laboratory of the All Nation University College, indicated it was a great sign of a successful stage. Another passage of the GhanaSat-1 is expected to occur at 6 p.m. This time around, experts are optimistic of quality signals.
We are hoping that the evening one will give us more stronger signal, and then we will follow it up with the images of the various coastal boundaries that we anticipate to get from the satellite.
The satellites, developed by 3 students of the All Nation University College at Koforidua, will take images from Ghana's coastal plains. According to Ernest Tay Mate, a technical member of GhanaSat-1, images taken by GhanaSat-1 will be interpreted to assist in geography. The data will be made available to government and relevant agencies. The educational satellite will assist in sending and receiving data from the satellite. Ernest Tay Mate called for the inclusion of satellite technology into the school curriculum of senior high schools to provide students first-hand information. The satellite was successfully launched into International Space Station by SpaceX, Flight 11 from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, USA, on June 3, 2017. It is operating in the orbit of an altitude of 420 kilometers and is expected to last 1 year, 8 months. Pretty exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, if since 1961, I think that was the first time.
Yes,
Gagarin. Yuri Gagarin landed in space. But I mean, it's never too late. Better late than never. Absolutely. 2017, we are there. Well, we'll be back shortly with some business news.
A very good evening to you. Thanks for staying with us, wrapping it up for the weekend to start. This is Business. My name is Nanekuya Mensah. Starting with from the stock market, the Ghana Stock Exchange, as at the end of the second quarter, has recorded an impressive year-to-date profit of 16.31%, and this has sustained the excitement on the market as investors taking positions in anticipation for better returns in the coming year. Now, TV3 Business takes a look at the top 5 best performing equities for the first half of the year 2017.
As at the end of half year 2017, the GSE All-Share Index stood at 1,964.55 points, representing a year-to-date profit of 16.31%. Similarly, the GSE Financial Stocks Index closed the quarter at 18.08% year-to-date. The worth of listed companies on the exchange stood at 59.5 billion cedis. Analysts believe the excitement on the market is informed by falling interest rates and the stability of the cedi.
People are just taking positions in stock, anticipating the upward swing. So I guess that is what is informing some of the price changes, not necessarily that the company fundamentals have changed significantly.
The top 5 best performing equities for half year 2017 is led by UT Bank, which has appreciated 133.33% in value. The stock opened the year at 3 pesos and is currently trading at 7 pesos. Analysts believe its impressive price appreciation is partly based on some speculation.
We know that they've not published results for a while, so I think it's either the demand and supply, just that, or speculation as well going into this purchase and then the price appreciation.
Getting to the end of last year, the price fell sharply, so you tend to start to see a rebound, and therefore that will probably explain. It's trying to correct back to maybe where it used to be.
It's based on speculation. We have not seen any fundamentals that should lead to such a marked appreciation in the prices of UT Bank.
The other top 5 gainers are Benso Oil Palm Plantation, which has gained 111.54% in value, Goel 70%, GCB Bank 46.07%, and Standard Chartered Bank 39.90%.
Standard took the bite early on, so wrote off most of their non-performing loans. So ending 2016, they were beginning to show very good profits, whilst the other banks were now taking their NPLs and all those things.
Away from the stock market, the Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, William Ejapon Kweito, has reiterated government's commitment to support cocoa farmers acquire the requisite skills to cultivate cocoa. He was speaking at a stakeholder workshop to consider a new policy on cocoa imports in Accra.
From a peak of 1 million tons achieved at the start of the decade, Ghana's annual cocoa production has declined to barely 800,000 metric tons and sometimes less in subsequent crop seasons. To modernize the sector and sustain the industry's future, government has announced new input policy which will result in stopping its free offering of fertilizers, fungicides and insecticides to farmers. It said offering the inputs free to a section of farmers while depriving others access to the same inputs has not yielded the desired results and therefore unsustainable. According to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, William Ejapon Kweito, it is time for cocoa farmers to operate their farms as sustainable business operations.
The cocoa farmer must understand that the businessman on the street who employs every means, including adverts and everything, finances his businesses on his own. So the farmer must also realize that what he's doing is a business. As long as the government is not able to buy the required quantities of fertilizer to meet all the needs of the farmers, there will be some kind of favoritism.
He enumerated a number of interventions government has put in place to help farmers.
One of them is to form the farmers into associations and then give them managerial skills training so that they can behave and act as businessmen, so they can go to the bank with their cocoa farms as the security, to access loans.
The Dutch ambassador to Ghana, Ron Stricker, said the Dutch government will assist in implementing the policy by helping farmers have access to credit.
We like to add an element that makes sure that farmers get easier access to finance. And that is, I think, very important, because the banks do not want to lend to farmers, and lack of money, lack of loans is a big problem, I think, for the sustainability of the sector.
And on banking, Standard Chartered Bank has launched the Visa Infinite and Visa Platinum credit cards in Accra. The launch of the Visa Infinite credit card, which is the first in Ghana, marks another milestone in the bank's 120-year history on the Ghanaian market.
The Standard Chartered Visa Infinite Credit Card is a premium card that comes with unparalleled benefits, including complimentary travel insurance of up to $2.5 million, worldwide emergency services, and unlimited airport lounge access for the cardholder. Holders of the Infinite Credit Card also get to earn 5 times reward on travel, supermarkets, and fuel. Speaking at the launch of the credit cards, the head of retail banking, Henry Baye, said Standard Chartered is focused on bringing the latest in cutting-edge digital capabilities to the market. He said the credit cards will change the culture of transacting business in Ghana, while the industry moves towards a new era of becoming a cash-light society.
During the whole of that 50-day period, you're just spending the money. Now, on the 30th day, we're going to send you a bill to say this is how much you've paid so far and remind you that by the 50th day, you need to make payment. So up until the 50th day, once you pay off whatever you've paid off, whether you pay off the whole amount you've spent or you've paid off part of it, you do not pay interest on anything that is not outstanding after the 50 days.
Customers can choose the Standard Chartered Visa Platinum card, which provides 3 times reward shopping and dining and ×1 on all other purchases, as well as purchase protection for up to 30 days. The Standard Chartered Visa credit card is chip and PIN enabled and has two-factor authentication processes for greater security.
So assuming today your card was used in a supermarket in Osu, then the next morning by 8 a.m., that same card is being used in New Jersey in the US, it sees that as an unusual behavior. So immediately it will send an alert and it will cause the bank to call you and say, is it the same you who was in the club in Osu yesterday and you are here today? And so we have a transaction monitoring system that's one of the best in the world that also aims to protect our clients from their cards being compromised or used by the wrong people.
Holders of the card also get to redeem their rewards in one of the best rewards programs in Africa through a comprehensive rewards platform. The Standard Chartered Visa credit card has worldwide coverage and accepted at over 23 million merchants and ATMs locally and globally.
Right, so that will do for the business segment, but we have more on 3news.com. You can visit there for more updates. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. We have sports next. Pleasant evening.
All right, so good evening, and it's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports with me, Thierry. Now, let's start off with this particular one. Football can be hard for young players, especially after they raise the standards at junior levels. After Ghana won the Under-20 World Cup in 2009, not many of those players have been able to comfortably make the step up to greater things in their careers. In an interview, a member of that crop, Bright Adai, outlines the difficulties and says he is still hopeful of rubbing shoulders with the big guns.
He was a member of Ghana's Under-20 side that captured the headlines after they won the World Cup in 2009. The side that dazzled and filled Ghanaian hearts with utter joy at the time. For many players at that stage, the decision-making process and step up to greater things is important. But for Bright Adai, though, it has been undulating. He signed for Parma right after the World Cup win, but it has been one move after the other for the young man, trying out teams in the doldrums of Italy's third tier to Spain and Slovenia. Now with a decent run for Ascoli in Italy's Serie B, he hopes it is a harbinger for things to come.
It's not easy, but you know, if you train good
you can be in the team. So I don't joke with my training. For now, I'm concentrating in Ascoli, but every player wants to play big club. So I have to make my mind that maybe next season I'll get a big side, then I'll move there. Now like this, I want to play in England, so I have to work hard because England is not easy there. So I have to work hard, then see if I'll get the chance to play there.
Like his old mates, the budding defender has set his sights on a chance with the senior national team. Adai strongly believes his time to get into the team is now and is working arduously towards it.
You know, in football, you have to have patience. I have to be patient and concentrate on what I'm doing. I know definitely this year will be my year, and I'll be in the team. If they invite me, they have to give me the chance for me to play.
Now, there is a return of the Ghana Premier League this weekend. Several match days across the country, with the exception of one. Wafa's game against Ashanti Gold has been postponed due to 7 of Wafa's players called up to the local Black Stars team. Remember, Ash Gold have been on a great run of form, so that game against the winners should be an interesting one. Other games will go on as scheduled. Asante Kotoko will play Mediama Sporting Club. Hearts of Oak will travel to Bichim United, while under fire, Great Olympics coach Tom Strand guides his side to host Wa All Stars. Tema Youth are capable of producing great results, and they will call on their stars to soar against the Bismarck Dwarfs. Ediona Stars will also face Liberty Professional. These are the matchday 21 fixtures in the Ghana Premier League. So the Black Starlets of Ghana will make their first appearance at the Under-17 World Cup in a decade, with their first match against Colombia following the draw on Friday. The draw was conducted in Mumbai with head coach Pakwesi Fabian and management chief Kweku Eya in attendance. The Black Starlets have been drawn in Group A alongside host nation India, Colombia and USA. They will open their campaign against South Americans before facing CONCACAF giants and rounding off against Asians. Ghana qualified to the tournament as they finished second at the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Gabon. The team lost 1-0 in the finals to Mali. They have won a competition twice in 1991 and 95, finished as runners-up on 2 occasions and claimed 1 bronze medal. Ghana's strongest season 6 has come a long way, with fun and lots of excitement visiting lots of their communities in Ghana. We have been to Teshi, Labadi, Sugakope, Kotobabi, Kolegono and Tema Community 1. And now is the 10 of Medina Libya quarters. The athletes have got 4 challenges to fight off to stay in the competition. And remember, this is season 6 of Ghana's Strongest. This particular show has been very, very exciting, with only 6 athletes left in the competition. They need to fight to remain in the show. Now, the 6 of them will have to make sure they, fight among themselves, to compete in the next 4 weeks, in this particular season. And then to the world of tennis. The big names are still in the Wimbledon tournament, and the latest to progress is 2-time champion Rafa Nadal. He is through to the last 16 of Wimbledon with a straight set win over Russia's Karen Khachanov. Spanish 4th seed Nadal took the first set in just 21 minutes and eventually won 6-1, 6-4, 7-6 on center court. Victory means Nadal has not dropped a set in his past 10 Grand Slam matches, winning 28 completed sets in a row. If he reaches the final, then he will return to the top of the world rankings for the first time since June 2014. 9th seed Kei Nishikori is out of the Wimbledon after losing in 4 sets to Spain's Roberto Augusta Agut. And that's exactly how we bring an end to the sports bulletin. My name is Thierry Nyan. Thanks for doing the watching.
Has entertained and enlightened Ghanaians for the past decade. As the season 11 begins, some Ghanaians have been sharing with TV their expectations.
You may have heard of Akoside, Adekesi, and the Ukuden festivals, but I'm going to tell you about different festivals. We have a Pimsop festival by the people of Kokofu, Mwaninko by the people of Ofenso, and yes, Santua festival by the people of Ejuso.
We are called Evers, we are not called Aigbe. But some people, they don't know where the name Aigbe came from. Understand? And me, I know the whole story. So when I watch it, I learn more because there are some little details that I don't know. Source of the guns, the Bani, the Gonja, and all those things. So I love to watch it because I want to learn more about their culture. And I want to learn how to speak their language also. Understand? Because it may help me.
The younger ones trying to actually take them as our role model, they should motivate us so that one day we can also join them. Their way of talking, their confidence level, because it's not easy for you to be in just dressed up in heels and then just be talking to the public. No, I think they've done a great job so far. Yeah.
I would recommend Ghana's Most Beautiful as compared to other reality shows or competitions because it is educative from their scenes and their visits to their hometowns. Some of us who have not been to our hometown, we are able to learn some things, culture things from our region. So I think it's helpful and educative.
Still on TV3's Ghana's Most Beautiful. Against all odds, interested participants defied the rainy weather in Tamale to make their way to the audition grounds of the pageant. The 31 ladies who showed up for the audition were poised and confident to show the cultural wealth of their region to make it through. Aged between 18 and 30, it was obvious the ladies were prepared. While some were revising their notes in the last-minute preparations, others were getting on their makeup to face the judges. One thing was common. They all had the intention of making a positive impact on the judges and be selected to represent their regions. Judges for the day were 2014 winner of the pageant, Bassi, and businessman Abdullah Yamasa, who expressed satisfaction in the intelligence and courage exhibited by the ladies. They explained it had been an educative and entertaining season and were confident the 11th edition would be more exciting than the previous one. It's certainly going to be more exciting. Yes, yeah. Beauty with braids is what the pageant requires.
Sure, call it Tuntumbroni, Ghana's Most Beautiful. Thank you for staying with us here on News 360. My name is Alfred Akansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Remember, news at 10 will simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Have a wonderful evening.